it's time for Know It All on Nothing But Happy News Monday.
I want it all, and I want it now.
Know It All. First
thing, our domestic nationwide media is pretty vapid and brainless and vacuous, and on top of that, superficial. And evidence of that is that yesterday, 4 people died in a Cessna Citation jet that had run out of fuel, that had probably depressurized. A pilot, nanny, a 2-year-old, and her mother. But the story all over, like for instance, MSNBC, as heard here.
And that is because these are 2-seaters.
Only this time, Courtney Cube is going to explain sonic booms. 4 people died yesterday, but anyway, go ahead.
The plane was flying somewhat erratically. The pilot wasn't responding to any kind of radio calls. Because of that, those military aircraft were authorized to fly at a supersonic speed. That's where this sonic boom came in. They fly so quickly that it makes this enormous sound.
See, because all quick things make an enormous sound. Thing 2.
Second thing.
Garfield High School is either open or it's closed. If you're listening to me for your Garfield lunch menu and closure updates, you're at the wrong place. But let's go to Channel 4 on it's funny. There was a time, I don't think before the ability to fail kids remotely, that they would have closed a high school, because 8 blocks away 2 days ago, there was a shooting. And then last night, 4 blocks away, there was a shooting. I'll tell you this. There's lots of shootings in LA County. They don't let you learn remote because of that.
The neighborhood near Garfield High School has been on edge following a threat that prompted school to go online. There's been 3 shootings near the school last month, and parents say a lot more needs to be done to put an end to gun violence.
You know, when you've got a high school who's shutting down because of threats of gun violence, you really need to ask yourself, why is that happening?
Well, now you got to ask yourself, who made that decision? All right, so there's that. And again, this was not on campus. And then there's a Bob Ferguson. I personally fast walked to the assault weapon ban through the legislature, though. Assault weapons are not the weapon of choice in the random shootings. They tend to be unregistered handguns or 80% homemade kits, or guns in the hands of someone with no legal right to possess them. So there, I fixed it for you. Thing 3.
Third thing.
This guy makes Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez look like a personal business maven who lifted herself up by her bootstraps. I give you Representative Maxwell Frost from Florida, whose main claim to fame is that he's the first Gen Z member of Congress. So he's at. Why would he be at? And by the way, he was living with his mommy this time last year. Lived at home, and is proud of that, because this is where it's a different world than me. To Gen Zers, that is a common experience. Apparently 1/3. But anyway, so I didn't even know, is Paramore still around?
Yeah, I could name you one Paramore song.
Yeah, please do.
That's What You Get. I used to play it on Guitar Hero all the time. Her backup band rocks.
Paramore. I sure know the name. I'd have no reason to listen to them, and you've given me none. Well, anyway, he was there, and he is a Gen Z member of Congress, so they called him up because he's really cool.
Speak to the people, Maxwell.
DC, I would like to invite the first Gen Z Congressman, Maxwell Alejandro Frost, to the stage right.
Did you say DC? This is Baltimore, ma'am.
Representing you, baby! Do you see this? Do you see the future right here?
All of you get out of your mom's basement and run for office or something, and then maybe you can take an Ussie with Paramore on that. Did they get around to actually doing what they were there for?
He got on mic. Keep playing the clip.
Did he really?
Yeah.
These beautiful people.
From the DeSantis, fascism, and we would know!
Yeah.
Beep Ron DeSantis, beep fashion. This is just about what you'd expect from America's first Gen Z congressperson.
Gotta drop an F-bomb.
Eloquence, articulation, just beautiful speechifying.
And by the way, when a politician and someone from your generation drops an F-bomb, that's probably them being them. When someone who ages out of your generation drops it, they're holding you in contempt is what they're doing. For instance. What a jackass. So anyway, but it'll be all, and he'll be. And by the way, you know what thing 4 is?
Fourth thing.
That TikTok influencer who breaks into people's houses in England. But
is he still alive?
Mizzy. I played that Piers Morgan audio last week. There's no reason to tee him up on your show unless you're going to kick him off. He was kicked off like 3 different TV shows in Britain over the weekend because he's a jackass. He's an arrogant jackass. And he has contempt for women and disrespects your co-anchor and all this. And so the only reason to have him on your show is to kick him off. At least Piers Morgan made fun of him. But I won't even play it. But this guy's like, no, you will not take the Mickey out of me. You'll get off after you apologize to my anchor and all this. And that really was thing 4. Thing 5.
Fifth thing.
Well, who is a better steward of your life? The scientists at the Washington State University that are introducing a new breed of apple, the W864, or the Apple company, the Apple CEO, Tim Cook, revealing an announcement today of the first major product, the first hard product, not including software updates, that Apple has launched in a decade. The announcement is poised to overshadow the new software that Apple will unveil for iPhones on their devices at the annual Worldwide Developers Conference, the WWDC. New software. Like, how do you do that reveal? The rest of the conference is going to be overshadowed. It focuses on software provided, blah, 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 blah. So they've been working on the headset for 7 years, delayed the launch several times. Don't you take the lesson from Facebook, from Meta?
Maybe they were in too deep. They couldn't turn back. I mean, if it's 7 years in production, I mean, Meta was released just a few years ago, and perhaps Apple was so far along in their development of their own headset, they went, oh boy, it doesn't look good for the future of this, but we got to see it through.
I would say, and I'm not a shareholder, but I would say, don't chase good money after bad on that. I mean, I got to tell you, 10 years ago, right? That's nearly a decade. You ever see Google Cardboard?
Say again?
Google Cardboard.
Okay.
It came in the mail. It was free. You folded it into a VR headset, and then it locked your phone in there. It had little lenses so that you could focus on the TV. And then you go on YouTube, and there's a little button. If you're showing a video, there's a little button that you click it, and it'll split it into 2 screens so you can watch it in VR. So about 5 minutes later, I said, so that happened. And the thing is, I have an LG VR camera, a 360 camera, and I plopped it in the middle of a bunch of chickens. What could be more fascinating? The answer, nothing. And so you could sit there with sound and move your head around and up and down and be as if you are a chicken. And I got it. And I said, this has many, many neat possibilities, but sadly, they will not interact with my life. And so I put it down, took the phone out, put it down. I thought it was cool, and that was it. Now, here's the thing. I haven't played a game on it, but all the games I see are like you're on a musical bar and notes are coming at you.
Or
And you have
look,
to
I'm
hit
at
it with a laser.
I'm at the top of a mountain and I'm disoriented because I'm not really on the top of a mountain. Wow, this is trippy.
I'm falling over. And look, they're shooting video of me
And I
wearing
just
it.
ran into the refrigerator and I'm actually hurt in real life.
So unless you want to have a midlife crisis like Mark Zuckerberg currently is in.
I tend to agree with Professor Scott Galloway on the future of this Apple headset that they're going to debut today.
Apple's headset is going to be one of the biggest tech failures. I think it's going to rival the Oculus, and it will
That's Meta.
officially be the most elegant final nail in the coffin of this sort of headset-driven VR consensual hallucination.
I wonder what powers it, because that's where you see these people whose job it is to make consumer electronics. At the end of the day, you're supposed to walk into an Apple store and say, yes, put a thing over my head and make me look stupid. I want to drive, but I'm not going to feel gravity or whatever. And I got to say, my gaming is 2D, and that's that. And there was a time that I did hook up VR, the Google Chrome, to a game. It didn't enhance it, and that's the bottom line. If it's fine, you don't fix it. There's that. I say Mark Zuckerberg middle-age crisis, because you know what he's doing these days? He's doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He's doing MMA, and he's angry because he didn't tap out, but he was choked out over the weekend, and the match was called. But so that's his new thing, is posing in his gi, in his Brazilian jiu-jitsu MMA style gi. His new thing is fighting. So that's what a gigantic failure is your Oculus.